Welcome to the Hookup on Music with your host, Tony Bird.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday night of live music talk here with the Hookup on Music. Glad for you guys to be joining us. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so let us get started. Currently, right now, I have a good friend who is at the Riot Fest Live, and he's messaging me, telling me how amazing it is. And sadly, I had to work today and had some other things I needed to do, so I couldn't be there. But some of these text messages he's been sending to me about this concert have been very, very awesome, and just are letting me know just how cool this whole entire concert's experience has to be right now. It was moved back to its location it has been for the last couple of years, so everybody was excited about that. But one of the first texts I got is security just hauled some dude out of here, and it's only 1 p.m. That's pretty cool. So at Riot Fest today at 1 p.m., Buddy says that security just hauled some dude out. I just that should be the name of the episode. Security just hauled some dude out. But that being said, he just texted me not more than 30 minutes ago that Sum 41 is literally blowing everyone out of here. So that means that they must be playing very well. And next week we will dig a little bit more deeper into Riot Fest and exactly what that entitled in the return to its original location. Slayer is playing Sunday. We do love Slayer around here, so I'm curious to hear and see how that is going to be. But that being said, let's get started. Again, my name is Tony, and I am your host tonight. This is episode 88, which is quite a lot of episodes when you think about it, and it's always really awesome to be sitting here and chilling and talking music. So let's get started here with some new releases that were released today. Always trying to figure out the new stuff that has been dropped on this day, and I have not checked out all of these releases, or I might not, but you may want to check some of these releases out for a new music release day. Trey Anastasio has Atriums that he just released, and if you're not familiar with who he is from the band Fish. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Dirt on My Diamonds, Volume 2, that was released today. Dropkick Murphys released a single with Sirens. Also today, which was released, was Body Count with Ice-T doing a cover of Comfortably Numb, which is very an interesting pairing when you think about it. But lot of stuff dropping. Okay, a lot of the stuff I was not planning for, but if you're a fan of Jamie XX, definitely had an album released. If you are a fan of Future, the mixtape Pluto was also released today. But going forward here, this next week, the 25th, Soul Coughing is returning to Chicago. And if it's been a while since you've heard some Soul Coughing, here is them with a recent performance. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Soul Coughing. This band was originally around from 1992 to 2000. Okay, they just got back together this year in 2024, which is actually very awesome because the 3 albums they've released, Ruby Vroom, Irresistible Bliss, and El Aso, are really, really, really awesome. And if you liked what you heard in that performance, which I did, they are going to be playing at the Riviera, which is an amazing venue to see many, many different artists who I have seen there. Slayer, they played at the Riviera, which always, as stated just a little while ago, is awesome to see Slayer. But again, Soul Coughing, that song there, Super Bonbon, that came out in 1996. Played quite a bit here on the radio stations, but back into town. Michael Kiwanuka has got a brand new album that he is releasing coming up this next year called Small Changes. I'm pretty excited to dig into that November 15th. The reason is because just this last week, I heard the Floating Parade single, and it is typical Michael, who just really comes out with really, 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 really good music. And to that being said, his last album was really, really, really good. Here's a little bit of a clip of that.
I'm only human. I'm done. You got to put me on. I know it will come along. So
Really excellent voice, really, really excellent vibes on what he puts out when he is doing an album and stuff like that. So I really am happy that he's got new music out. And I'm sure as soon as that comes out, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into that. But let's keep this going. Definitely, if you have not had an opportunity, Goose puts on a really, really, really good live show. And recently, their live shows have been taking form by doing some amazing covers during them. During this recent stint at the Salt Shed in Chicago, they covered things like Please Forgive Me by David Gray, which is an excellent, excellent, excellent song if you have not heard that one. They've also covered some Foster the People's Pumped Up Kicks. If you are familiar with that song and you're looking for a good jammy take on it, they do not disappoint. Goose is a band that their guitar player and the musicians who incorporate it do not have a problem with just really getting down. And that's a lot of jam bands are like this, but they are really a bit more. We move on to the third night that they played. And they did a Jim James cover, My Morning Jacket lead singer, State of the Art, another really, really good song. But they also covered Bob Seger's Hollywood Nights, which I could only imagine in a really jammed out format. Really, really good. You know, you're, again, an artist a band who is, when they come to town and they're playing multiple shows, it gives the artist an expansion to be able to do more than what you would think that an artist could do, and Goose is really no exception to that rule. But last week we started to dig into LL Cool J, and you're like, dig into him, his new album. We were not familiar that he had anything brand new coming out, and it was shared upon us that his new album was dropping, and I kind of just stated a little bit of this or a little bit of that from it, but I've now been really digging into this album, and this is really a impressive album by Mr. LL Cool J. It's 43 minutes long, so it's not like you're really getting into something really, really take up your time, which some albums could seem really long with a lot of interludes and stuff like that. It seems to just really get down to what you've been known for, LL Cool J, with a lot of good collaborations like Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
Tell it out the glass slippers. Time is ticking, giving ass whippers. How we keep the cash slipping.
If you're really looking for something that is a callback to maybe those 80s, 90s, those rap days, if that's what you're looking for, LL's new album, The Force, is really, really, I think, a really good indication to start to dig into that. And by doing that, seem to have seen a little bit more because Q-Tip produced his newest album, and Q-Tip is from a great album artist, Tribe Called Quest. Be an awesome album title, though, I will be honest with you. But at this stage of the game, when LL is still putting out albums of this quality, you can say to yourself, album 14 is going to be pretty good. And this guy's put out some really good films too. Later on tonight at 8:30, we are going to be back on here talking some really awesome films. And speaking of awesome films, Deep Blue Sea with Mr. LL Cool J, deepest, bluest, my head is like a shark's fin, is really, really, really awesome. But please, last week I brought it up really, really quickly. It was thrown at me, but sit down and take a listen to this one. It's got some really awesome sounds, really awesome just lyrics all in general. I've been going on some walks lately, and it has actually been a really, really great and pleasant surprise. What isn't ever a surprise at any shape or form is LCD Sound System. Recently been thinking back to, the early days of me listening to them, and that first album that we all dug into together, with Daft Punk playing in my house. Daft Punk is a really, really great band, and when other bands are bringing up their album titles, especially considering this album I'm talking about came out in 2005, a long, long time ago. LCD Sound System on Capitol Records. Daft Punk is playing in my house is actually on this album, leads it off. But this is a really, really, really good, deep album with just a lot of good music in general. You may be thinking one thing of LCD Sound System, but this was a really good indication right from the beginning that they were going to be doing a lot of different things that maybe other people didn't do. One thing that they do and they do use that other people have done, there was a lot of do's and dones and stuff, is the really amazing use of cowbell, which I think is awesome that they put this out there and they seem to want to have this as one of the main sounds in their music, which I think honestly really, 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 really works well in a lot of their stuff. But as you get deeper into their catalog, the band is maturing, and honestly, last album of theirs came out back in 2017. They only have 4 albums. Okay, back to Soul Coughing, who only had 3. LCD Sound System only has 4 albums, and they've been together pretty much from 2002 to 2011 and 2015 to the current time. This is who's been with them since 2002. James Murphy on lead vocals is who you may be familiar with if you are familiar with LCD Sound System. He plays the synths, the guitars, the bass, the drums, percussion, drum machine. Nancy Wahang on keyboard, synths, vocals. Pat Mahoney, another. He's working with Tyler Pope, joined in 2004, but as you can tell here, he likes to work with the same people, which is awesome because in live performances, they definitely do not let down in any type of live format at all. Really good stuff. Really good song, and honestly, a really good band. If you have not sat down and really took a listen to them, you can get started with This Is Happening. If you're looking for something that honestly is a great indication on the ears in all different facets. An album that came out in 2010, May 17th. I remember this specifically because my birthday was the next day, and I picked up this album and the Black Keys album that came out actually on the same exact day at the same exact time. Needed them both. Both were great records. But if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, this great lyrics to this band. Dance Yourself Clean will lead the album on at 8 minutes and 56 seconds. Is great. One touch, 7:45. You know us. You know we like the long songs. And honestly, they have no problem with putting out really, really good music at really, really, really awesome lengths. But this album, you can get started with this one and really, really, really see what the band is about and see if it's worth really you digging more into, which is, I think, always the key when we are talking about music here, is to see what we can dig in deeper. Because even myself, I've listened to a lot of the studio albums, but their live performances, it's a completely different beast, a completely different animal, and actually is really worth also you checking out if you ever get the chance. When they were in town last time, we went through their live, what they did when they were at the Aragon Ballroom, the Byline Aragon Ballroom. I like saying that, but the band, though, really, really clicking on all cylinders, and exciting to see what the next album, when it does come out, what that is going to sound like. But The Who live at Leeds. You ever listen to The Who? Like I always state, the show goes from all different types of things, and this is kind of like how my mind works with music. Like I can be listening to LCD Sound System, LL Cool J, and then shoot on down to The Who honestly, did you hear that? Who honestly definitely deserve to, what's the word I'm looking for, always be talked about. We've talked about Keith Moon here, John Entwistle. We've talked about the whole band, but this album, recorded at Leeds factory, the University of Leeds in England, back in 1970, which is really, really cool because the production on this album is top notch. They've released a couple different versions, remastered versions of these songs, which you always like to hear those type of things. And on the remastered version of this, which I have been listening to quite a lot, it starts with Heaven and Hell, which is just an amazing song, sung by John Entwistle. But the original version of this was 37 minutes and 43 seconds. The original single from this album were Summertime Blues, aka and Heaven and Hell, which honestly, even a song like I Can't Explain, it really, really showcases the band. I was thinking about this earlier. That song was only about 4 or 5, 6 years old when this came out. And honestly, they had no problem with the making it sound even cooler and more relative than that 1964 version, which is great, but again, could to some people feel a little bit dated or not not feeling up to snuff to what the band's catalog is. But that being said, really, really, really awesome, and also really, 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 really great live album. Jane's Addiction, man, what's going on? You know, if you have not recently have heard the news, they were getting back together. They were sitting and they were living a amazing dream of finding themselves. Well, they've been pretty much back together for a while, but they take these long jaunts because originally they were around from 85 to 91. This would be what would deem to be called for most the golden years of the band. What I'm about to show you, which occurred recently, this was not the golden years, and this is possibly the end of the band. You know, I'm always curious when artists get back together, what is their personal life like? And honestly, I can care less. But when it unfolds in front of an audience like that, that's not necessarily a good thing. But you know, Jane's Addiction has albums that they can stand on it as some of really the greatest albums. Another band that honestly only 4 albums. So shocking that these bands that their original run only had 2 albums, and since 2003 only 2 albums. So very interesting in that kind of regard. But some of their songs, I mean, very, very memorable. Always, you know, the hit singles, but some of the deeper tracks is where Ocean Size is a really, really, really awesome song, which what was being played there right when they were getting really into a squabble. But when a band doesn't talk or band doesn't communicate, I mean, you're going to fight on stage and definitely don't want that spilling out in public. But Nothing Shocking is a great album. And honestly, a lot of people likened it to, this is an odd, I thought an odd quote. Stephen Pond of Rolling Stone likened Jane's Addiction to the true heir to Led Zeppelin, and called Nothing Shocking simultaneously forbidding and weighty, delicate, ethereal, while also distinctly hard-headed and realistic. Just like Led Zeppelin's music. I don't know. Maybe you hear Led Zeppelin and Jane's Addiction. I've never really thought of it like that. But interestingly enough, it's sad that this is, the end probably of this band. And sadly, when you are fighting on stage, that's not necessarily something that you want to, really be showcasing in front of everybody. But I'm pretty sure that, honestly, Dave Navarro has already moved on and has already announced his next musical gear expose that he's going to be doing, which is awesome. You know, I find that to be very, very, very cool in a way that he can just move on. Myself, I would be very, very angry, and I don't know if the other guys are very, very angry, but I can imagine because of Perry Farrell's actions, as you can see in the video. And from what I've heard, it was really his fault. He's trying to pick a fight on stage. But again, we are here for the music. And honestly, just to get back to that really quick, dig into their next album, Ritual de lo Habitual, which honestly has more great songs. Like 3 Days is an amazing, amazing song, and No One's Leaving, and Classic Girl. And honestly, just think of the music. Don't look at this stuff. Don't look at stupid videos that trying it down. I mean, it happens. People argue all the time. I'd be shocked to hear that a lot more bands that we know don't argue on a daily basis. But that being said, Jane's Addiction, maybe we'll see you again sometime. Also coming to town this week, which is actually again really awesome. And I know again another juxtaposition to Jane's Addiction, but that is the one and only Light Orchestra. Okay, they are coming to town, and that is the 27th. Okay, so if you're 25th, you have at the Riv Soul Coughing, and then on Friday you got Light Orchestra playing at the United Center, which honestly, this is the end of the road for Light Orchestra. Jeff Lynne just really has a really, really amazing story. ELO in general just really, really has a really great story. They're also playing Sunday too. So if you're like, oh, I didn't make it to the Friday one, I got to get out there to the other one. Well, you can do that, but get back to one of them. I will be there at one of those shows. I've had an offer to go to both of them. I have not decided which one I will pick yet, but I'm being told I need to make this decision quick. But I love ELO. They are honestly one of my favorites, and by favorites in my top 500. Don't know where I would place them, but boy, are they really awesome in their classical arrangements and almost futuristic sounds is kind of how I like to describe them. Honestly, great live show. Even their new Jeff Lynne is backed up by an amazing band that really brings a lot of these songs to the forefront more than you would think at this age or part of their career. But Jeff Lynne, really, 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 really awesome. And it's cool that he is doing this, but a little bit he started ELO as kind of like a side project because he was in a band called The Move, and him and the gentleman in the band decided that they were going to start kind of a side band. Roy Wood was this gentleman's name, and Roy Wood was the leader of ELO until he realized after the first album, maybe he just didn't want to be a part of this anymore. So he kind of left, and guess who took the reins? Mr. Jeff Lynne. So honestly, ELO has grown into this just a great album band too. Some of their albums, the 1970s run of theirs, is honestly, if you have not sat down and you have not listened to some of these albums, or it's been a long time, honestly, I don't think you'd be too disappointed, especially in the first 6 albums, 7 albums. And then as it goes a little bit more, maybe they get a little less, like a lot of bands. But honestly, like I said, that live show is definitely something that you're going to want to check out if you have that opportunity, because you're saying, well, what kind of show are these guys putting on? Was it like 10 songs? I mean, it's got to be not a lot. But honestly, you're going to be surprised that they're actually playing every song that you could ever imagine from their set list. They're actually, if you're paying the money to see these guys, they are not going to let you down in the category of playing what you want to hear. Okay. On the 17th, okay, they just played 20 songs. Okay. Mr. Blue Sky, which you just heard, Don't Bring Me Down, Turn to Stone, All Over the World, Telephone Line, Living Thing, High, Fire on High, that drum in Fire on High, really, really, really great. Showdown, Evil Woman, Showdown's great, and Kingpin. Don't know when the last time you have watched Kingpin, but really, really great ELO song part in that. But again, ELO is a really, really, really great band to sit down and listen to with your headphones on. So honestly, I'm going to be doing that in preparation for the upcoming show. But again, you know, you may not like ELO. You may not like LCD Sound System. You may not like a New World Record by Light Orchestra, which honestly is worth your time in gold, just to sit down and listen to that, especially if you're a fan of bands like the Beatles, because I've always thought that ELO was a great extension to the Beatles, because honestly, he helped produce the anthology, and he's even sounds like he's on Free as a Bird. But that being said, great albums, really, 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 really great, are always necessary, especially on a Friday night. So here is another our album potpourri of greatness here. And we're going to, what are we going to dig into today? Let me take my magic arrow and see where it lands. Massive Attack. Ooh, did not have that on my bingo card to talk about tonight. But Massive Attack is really, 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 really another great band that, it's another genre that we haven't really covered too much. English trip hop. Which was this band was formed in 1988 with Robert 3D Del Naya, Tricky, who I have seen at Lollapalooza in 97. He is a part of this amazing ensemble. And Granddaddy G. Marshall, which honestly, another really artist band that does not get talked about enough. And you're looking for really, really something really, really, really good. Blue Lines is the album that I just pointed to there, and it's honestly it's a work of differentness that honestly probably isn't what you were spinning. Rolling Stone listed it as one of the top 500 albums of all time, but we don't really think that because Rolling Stone says it's one of the top 500 albums of all time is what makes it one of the top 500 albums of all time. What makes it one of the top 500 albums of all time is that it's a really, really, really great album. And honestly, I would sit down and I would listen to this album because just me pointing at it lets me realize just how many boundaries this whole album really, really, it's got funk, it's got reggae, it's got house, it's got classical, it's got hip hop, it's got space rock. The lines are all over the place because you can't really tell where it starts and where it stops. But again, Massive Attack has that feeling when you're listening to the album, when it's making greatest album lists from Pitchfork and Rolling Stone and all over the place. Like I said, we don't count those, but when songs like Safe from Harm and Unfinished Symphony and Sympathy, I keep calling Sympathy, Him, The Big Wheel, just really, really good, good stuff. But again, Massive Attack is a band that doesn't get talked about enough, and neither really does that whole genre. It's a genre that I think honestly, as we move forward, we might look a little bit deeper. I think of that show that I saw Tricky at with that Lollapalooza in 97. And honestly, at that time of my life, I didn't really understand what it was. It was a lot of electronicness, which honestly was like futuristic. So it was interesting to go back after the 97 Lollapalooza and then realize he was in Massive Attack and realize that he has just a great catalog. As does all the artists we talked about tonight. Go back and check out Jane's Addiction's catalog. They have no problem, even though they're squabbling, letting you jam out to some really, 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 really good stuff. Same thing with LCD Sound System, LL Cool J. I mean, the name of the game always, especially with artists, is with huge catalogs, is you're going to find some things that you enjoy. You might find some things that you don't enjoy. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to invite over somebody and you start talking about music, and this is kind of how it ends. Yeah, don't take swings over music. We don't want to do that. But what we do want to do is thank you for joining us tonight on another amazing live episode of the Hookup on Music, which honestly is something that I love and I enjoy to do. I love enjoying talking about music, all different kinds of music. In the month of October, please, 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 please look out for our blog at the Sadistic Penguin Studios. I am going to be dropping a different Halloween song every single day of the month. It's going to be really, really awesome. It's going to be really, really great. We got a lot of other awesome stuff coming up on this channel. We have really, really cool videos like this coming.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Delight.
Fuck you!
Welcome to Light.
It's over, Michael. It's time to join the club.
So we got 31 movies we'll be covering for Halloween. We got 31 amazing Halloween songs that we'll be covering on the Sadistic Penguin Studios website. Tonight, please stay tuned at 8:30. We're going to be going live and talking about the amazing career 10 films of Joaquin Phoenix, one of my personal favorites. We're going to have a soundtrack pick you're going to tune in for. A lot of awesome music talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Please check out It's Getting Drafty in here on the channel. Check out college football tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining me, because it's always a good time sitting here and chatting with you. So until we happen to do this next time, which next time will be next Friday, we will talk again soon, everyone out there. My name is Tony. This is the Hookup on Music. Everyone out there, make sure you tune into at the show at 8:30. Until though, next time we talk about music. See you next Friday. Take care.
Thank you for listening. Please look out for the audio version wherever you jam.